Hello my pokey people, and welcome one and all to some more Sun and Moon goodliness. And it's time to get hype-sighted, because for the first time since the announcement teasery trailer, we might actually factually have some new tangible information, and that is the names of the Sun and Moon flagship legendary Pokemon. Now, we only have the names from Elite trademarks, so as with everything, a grain of salt is required. You know, it pays to pour salt on your skepticism. So without further ado, the registered name for the Sun legendary is Solgaleo. The registered name for the Moon legendary is Lunala. Now, before we dive in and analyze the hell out of these names and what they mean for the Pokemon and the game itself, we do need to point out that these weren't registered by Nintendo, Game Freak, or Creatures, which are the three that have registered all the other Pokemon, which would normally discredit this, but I think for a couple reasons, literally two, that we can assume these are actually real. Number one, they are being incredibly, strangely tight-lipped about Sun and Moon information. Literally, they've given us nothing but the little teaser, which is so unusual compared to other Pokemon game announcements. And based on that, it would follow and make sense that this time they'd go through a third party to try and ironically prevent leaks from coming out, because people are watching the main three, not watching third parties. Indeed, this is why this took a month to actually get noticed. And then secondly, is these trademarks do resemble other Pokemon trademarks. So with that said, let's discuss them, shall we? Because theory is what we do here. So let's have a look at Solgaleo. Let's break up this name. Shockingly, this one is gonna blow you away with my Sherlockian instincts. We've got ourselves Spanish for sun, also Latin for sun. Sol, you know, it's the Sun legendary. We're kind of getting there. And then if we skip to the end a little bit, we've got Leo, which is Spanish for lion. So a Sun Lion legendary Pokemon. People have wanted a fiery cat type deal for a while, especially in starter form with a fire tiger, so I could see it propping up as a legendary. And then the middle bit, the Gal. See, to me, I'm thinking Galileo, who is, of course, a famous astronomer, which again relates to the spacey Sun and Moon theme. So a combination of Sun, Galileo, and Leo for Solgaleo, a sort of astral, sun-fiery, feline Pokemon. I can totally see that as a legendary. Now, of course, because of the existence of Pyroar, a straight-up fiery lion seems a little bit less likely, but really, again, as I always say, we've had a lot of examples of the same type and creature appearing again as Pokemon, you know, Vulpix Firefox, Fennekin Firefox. That is a pretty solid interpretation of this. You'll notice I was mentioning that these words are also Spanish words, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, Lunala, Lunala, Lunala. It sounds like a Teletubby. I'll be honest with you, it does sound like a Teletubby. Dipsy, Lunala, Po. Either way, this one, obviously Luna, Moon, also Spanish for loon, and for loon, yes, moon, and ala, which is wings in Spanish, so that projects a flying moon legendary. So there we go, that's the easiest way to break down their names. Now, the reason I'm bringing up that they're Spanish words feeling prominently in the names of the Pokemon is because of two theories that I really buy into. Number one, that from XY onwards, including Oris, the Pokemon games is set in an entirely different universe. I've touched on this before in a different theory video, but they're set in a different universe with a different series of events that includes Mega Evolution, and basically it's got its own story and canon that isn't relevant to the previous games pre-X and Y. Secondly, if we assume that to be true, then we can say that X and Y Y is the red and blue, I mean it is red and blue, X is red, Y is blue, of the new, almost modern, if you will, set of Pokemon games. It's the first one in its own chain, so if X and Y is the Kanto, that would make Sun and Moon the Johto, and I think those two together make a lot of sense, because to me, X and Y very much felt like a soft reboot of Pokemon. It was a really new, exciting experience that very much stands out amongst all that came before it. So if we assume this is all true, Johto is connected to Kanto, ergo it would make sense for the Sun and Moon region to be physically connected to the Kalos region, and where would it likely be connected? Well, if Kalos is based on France, if we go south we get Spain, Spain is connected to France, these names paint a very Spanish picture, the teaser trailer footage showed palm trees and tropical nature which are found in Spain. I would say that we ignore Singapore and Hawaii and actually predict very almost confidently now that we have a Spain-based region in store in Sun and Moon, which makes me kind of excited, because as someone who's lived in Spain for nearly 5 years, I really do love the country. There's a lot of cool stuff there, and a lot of inspiration to draw from. There is a woodpecker with a red head that is a species that is native to Spain, which would make sense for the basic bird woodpeckery Pokemon we saw in the teaser trailer. There are a lot of parallels that do actually support this when you think about it. So for now, my prediction is that these are the legendaries, and that the Sun and Moon region is based on Spain and is physically connected to Kalos' France, and that the line "it all comes together" that was in the teaser trailer,
it all comes together in an all-new Pokemon adventure,
means we might actually get a post-game where we can go to Kalos, and this really is going to be one of the most inclusive, completed, well-rounded, massive Pokemon games we've ever had. I think genuinely Sun and Moon is going to be something really, really special, and I'm very excited. So yeah, I'm liking it. So in terms of the actual Pokemon themselves then, Solgaleo and Lunala. Form-wise, as I said, Leo, it's probably going to be a cat-based creature. So what I want to see, actually, for the first time, is almost a shaman quality to box legendaries. We always have massive, beastly looking creatures, big, imposing, destructive forces. I think it would be really cool if the Sun and Moon legendaries were actually kinda harmless looking. So I'm thinking instead of Leo being a straight up lion, we actually go for something more approaching an ocelot or a household cat even, and have a really muted, subtle, I mean still interesting and unique enough to be a legend, like Shaman Lux for example, but this nice detailed fiery cat that's actually kinda small, and then maybe when it uses a signature move or what the bad team are trying to do, maybe unlock its potential, and then it kind of almost primal reversions, but it won't be that, into a much bigger, more impressive tiger, lion type creature with a lot more fire and strength going for it, and in that form it has the power to cause permanent day in the region, like a sunny day cast across the entire region. I think that would be a really cool, neat thing to do that we haven't seen before. And then finally with Lunala, I think it's easy to go for something like Lugia, a psychic flying, just a kind of dragon-y looking thing, and it's also easy to go for like a moth or a bug legendary finally, but we've got so many mothy butterfly Pokemon, and the thing is, if it wasn't for flying, there's a lot of good candidates for a moon-like creature that isn't your normal legendary, but because we have got flying, I'm actually thinking something along the lines of a gliding mammal, you know, the ones that have like the flaps when they reach out their arms and they just glide through the air. Well, the sugar glider is a nocturnal animal, so moon, and that kind of works, because imagine the image of looking up into a clear night sky and seeing the silhouette of this gliding, mysterious Pokemon passing across the moon. I think it would look really cool, and it would support and mirror the innocence of the cat form Sun legendary, and maybe there'd be an evolution upgrade to the moon one when it its potential is unlocked, though to what animal I don't know in this case, but I think it would be a neat thing to do. Probably not likely, but it's something I'd like to see, and I think it's an interesting thing to think about. So there you go, guys. 2 new names. If you've enjoyed this, let others know, spread the word, and subscribe for more. I'm getting so very excited for Sun and Moon, I have to say. 20 days until some proper, tangible information. Come on, Koro. But for now, I'll see you next time. A good boy.